Short tenure in Congress to travel to Bahrain to visit with government representatives as well as those who serve the United States in Bahrain. So we have a deep interest in this nation and a desire to work with Bahrain to improve the lives of the people. And I know the work includes also engaging more women. I had an opportunity to meet with women leaders on my last visit, and it's my hope that this effort will continue. Additionally, I know that the protection of human rights in Bahrain is something that's important to many of my constituents about human rights in Bahrain. I look forward to today's testimony, to hearing from our witnesses, to being engaged. Our nation's Deputy Director of its Middle East and North Africa Division is a general expert on human rights issues in the region. Before joining Human Rights Watch, Mr. Stewart co-founded the Middle East Research and Information Project and served as chief editor of Middle East Report, its bi-monthly magazine. Author of numerous books and widely published articles on the Middle East, he's lectured widely at universities and public fora around the world. And Mr. Stewart served as a Peace Corps volunteer in Turkey and holds an MA in International Affairs and Middle East Studies from Columbia University. He'll be followed by Mr. Stephen McInerney, who's Director of Advocacy for the Project on Middle East Democracy. He's the author of the recent POMED, is that the acronym? Report, the Federal Budget and Appropriations for Fiscal Year 2011, Democracy, Governance, and Human Rights in the Middle East and North Africa. He has extensive experience in the Middle East and North Africa, including graduate studies of Middle Eastern politics, history, and the Arabic language at the American University of Beirut and the American University in Cairo. Mr. McInerney has spoken on Middle East affairs with numerous media outlets, including MSNBC and CBS News, and his writing on Middle East affairs and U.S. policy has been published by the Carnegie Endowment's Arab Reform Bulletin, the Daily Star, the New Republic, Foreign Policy, and the Washington Post. He received his master's degree from Stanford University. We're also joined by long active in the international community. Ms. Zoglin recently worked in Morocco as Deputy Director of the American Bar Association's Rule of Law Initiative, overseeing programs in Morocco and Algeria. She's also worked in Serbia and Macedonia with the American Bar Association's Central European and Eurasian Law Initiative. As a Fulbright Scholar, Ms. Zoglin conducted human rights work in Paraguay, including research in the Archive of Terror. She's taught international human rights at Stanford Law School and the University of California at Berkeley. Ms. Zoglin has been an author and speaker on topics such as war crime tribunals, women's rights, and human rights abuses under military regimes. Ms. Zoglin has 20 years of experience as a prosecutor and civil litigator for local governments in California, and she's a graduate of Harvard College and Harvard Law School. We'll also hear today from Dr. Mohammed Al-Ansari, who served as chairman of the Public Freedom Society in Bahrain. And I want especially to thank, since 2007, and has also worked with TASA, T-A-S-A, a group in Bahrain focused on supporting women for elective office. Before that, he worked with the International Foundation for Election Systems, an independent non-governmental organization providing professional support to electoral democracy. Dr. Al-Ansari earned a master's in political science from the University of Dorchester in the United Kingdom and a PhD in political science from Richmond University in the United Kingdom. The recent allegations by Human Rights Watch of torture and abuse of detainees are particularly concerning. And I'm interested in hearing from our witnesses today. I should say also, of course, we're joined by, as mentioned earlier, Kenneth Katzman, who's a specialist in Middle East affairs for the Congressional Research Service. Dr. Katzman served on the staff of the House International Relations Committee during 1996 and 2001 to 2002, and served at the Central Intelligence Agency during 1985 to 89. He authored 2 major Atlantic Council studies on U.S. sanctions against Iran and Libya, a major report for Congress on Near Eastern terrorist organizations, including Al-Khalifa, and the book, The Warriors of Islam, about Iran's Revolutionary Guard. Dr. Katzman is also a regular contributor to the policy website of the Abu Dhabi-based Emiratis Center for Strategic Studies and Research. And with that, we'll begin our testimony today. If you all can remember how you started, but I'll help. Mr. Stark, please begin your testimony.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman Edwards, for your efforts in convening this meeting of the Commission. Thank you to shed some light on the situation in Bahrain. I've been working on Bahrain very closely since I joined Human Rights Watch in 1996, so for 15 years. In 2000, the period between 2000 and 2002, we saw the remarkable beginnings of political change, political liberalization, and political reform in Bahrain after Sheikh Hamad took over from his father in late 1999. Beginnings of an independent press. Some of those reforms have been enduring, such as the security courts. Those are gone. I hope they're gone for good. There are no political prisoners, at least in any substantial numbers in Bahrain. Bahrain no longer exiles people because of their political opinion. My colleagues are going to address the broader issues of political rights, free speech, freedom of association, and so forth. Just my view as someone who has watched Bahrain closely over these many years, I think that these important reforms of the 2000 to 2002 period have quite properly left Bahrain with a very favorable reputation as a modernizing, liberalizing state. But I think at the same time, the country and the government there has gotten something of a free ride based on those reforms. I think it's important to keep up the momentum, or I should say, more properly renew and revive the momentum on reform. I want to talk about one particular problem, Bahrain's torture problem. In 1999, certainly after 2002, reports of torture or ill treatment and detention were extremely scarce. By 2005, when Bahrain belatedly presented its first report to the UN Committee Against Torture, it could justifiably, legitimately claim to have ceased the practice pretty much altogether. I visited Bahrain in June 2009 with a colleague, Josh Kalanshal O'Brien, who's with us today, and I hope maybe after we've done our presentations we'll have a chance to speak briefly as well. We interviewed individuals who have been detained over the previous 18 months, starting in December 2007. People who have been detained in connection with a series of usually street clashes between demonstrators and security forces. In some cases, in one case, alleged planning of terrorist attacks. What we found on the basis of being able to interview these people who had been released by the king in a pardon in April 2009. So we were there just, a matter of weeks after they had been released. What we gleaned from the testimonies we got from them, but also, importantly, from documents, government documents that we were able to review, including court records and reports of medical examiners, we concluded that torture is once again a serious problem in Bahrain.